Welcome back, everybody, to APAC North. Spear Gaming versus FAV Gaming is about to begin. We're all gaming here in APAC North. And welcome back to the Analyst Desk. I am Milos Dometic, your host for the show. With me are Fresh and Demo. We're going to have a chat about these two squads, starting off with FAV Gaming.
FAV Gaming, Milos, have made a lot of changes. It's a team that had a lot of potential, dropped off significantly, and they've made drastic roster changes. Number two is out, and I'm personally very sad because we've now not got the Barbershop Boys demo. We don't have Afro and number two anymore, just Afro. Ramu has gone to Fnatic. Typon has been benched. He's on the substitute roster. They've brought in Yura, Light, and K-Razors back in from the substitute roster into the main team. And I think they had to do something because they were sliding. They were getting dangerously close to the bottom of the table in that relegation dogfight. It's not where you want to be. So they've made drastic changes.
Yeah, and I think whenever you look at how, obviously, where things have changed, where, top two is necessities now. You can't pull top fours. You have to do as much as you can to make that challenge. There is only a limited number of spots, even less than what other regions get. So I think it's just that constant pressure of, we have to get this top two. We cannot afford to slip up, and yeah, drastic changes have to be made.
The top four is important for SI points, of course, and the top two are the only two spots that will qualify you to the sixth major in November. More information on that in the coming weeks, fingers crossed. Whereas for APAC South, it's also the same situation where it's only the top two that get to qualify. No more playoffs as we had 6 or so months ago.
That's with your hands.
I tried to cross my fingers and I realized I can't do it without the help of my other hand. I can't just do it.
You can do it with your thumb.
What? No. It goes to there, and then I've got to physically.
But you can do it with the other finger.
No.
The thumb. Well, you got to use your thumb.
Yeah.
Normally, you got to find it first. Who knows where?
Why am I here again? What's going on?
Let's talk about their opponent, Spear Gaming, on the other side. Fresh.
Can't do it. I've got to go. Spear.
Yeah.
Right. Spear Gaming. Look, this roster got absolutely decimated. There's no other way of saying it. When they went from T1 Spear, not because of the organisational changes, but because Arakazi got ripped out of this team. 11 was out basically the whole of last stage. I don't remember him actually playing the game last stage. He's now officially off the roster. They were by far and away the two best players. And this roster has dwindled in performance. It's dwindled in results as a result of that, which is a shame because under the old roster with Arakazi, with 11, they really were building to something quite good. And it's quite hard because stage 3 is not looking too great for them. They're playing with the same 5. They struggled with the same 5 last stage. And they've gone from this really crazy roster that's really hard to play against and you don't know what they're going to do, to much more default because they've had to. And it's really hindered them.
Yeah, they had to strip it down to basics. And I think whenever you're trying to be too advanced, you need to be able to simplify what you're doing to try and make as less mistakes as you can. And, for a majority, they were doing that. They were stripping things back to very bare-bones Siege. And the only issue with then going back to basics is then you're actually very easy to play against, and teams are not going to be surprised by what you're doing. So hopefully now, because they've figured out the basics, now they can start adding on a bit of meat onto the actual body of this side, and who knows, they can come in here and surprise us today.
I would need to do fewer mistakes today.
Try their best.
Try their best. Well, let's see which map they're going to need to get on today because it's a 9-map pool. 8 are out, 1 is left, and we'll have Clubhouse, a classic one. You don't play Clubhouse properly, then you might as well not play at all. Attacking starting side for Spear as they picked up the map. FAV decide they're starting side on defense. Jack.
And Spear haven't played this map in the current iteration, or even an iteration that looks like this current team. They played it, the last time that they played it was actually stage 2 of last year. So it's been over a year since they played it inside of APAC North. And it probably goes to show that this roster is going much more towards basics with the map pick. For FAV, they play it a lot, but they also, again, it's similar story to Talon play in Oregon. They like playing it, they love it, but they don't really ever get wins or results on it.
Yeah, like everyone can play Clubhouse. My dad could play Clubhouse.
Paul can play
he does.
Paul can play Clubhouse. That's how easy it is. And then at that stage, it just comes down to who can do the basics. Because Clubhouse is a very basic map. It's not difficult to play, but if you don't do things in a certain order and you don't do it, follow the recipe. Let's say you're trying to make a cake and you're putting, your eggs in before you've added your flour, and you're getting it all mixed around. You need to make sure that you're doing things in the correct step. So I think for Spear especially, because I think the pressure's on them, isn't it, to really show us what they can do. They need to be able to do the basics right today, but also add on a bit of a flair that hopefully they've been working on.
You know what they say about cakes? It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake, right?
Right.
You got to do the cooking by the book.
Right.
You know you can't
I have
be lazy.
no idea about this.
Lazy
He's doing the
town.
lazy town thing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, honestly.
Sorry,
I'm too
forgot.
old and
So
too
many
young
things are
at
just
the same
lost on
time.
me, Milosh. All I know is Siege, Ranked, Siege, Comp, and that's it.
Yeah, you have to be number one.
Touch some grass. With all due respect.
Do you know what? I was saying to this to demo. I went to a school in the city centre in Hull that had
In
no
Hull?
grass because it was in the city centre in the middle of a city. Anyway, just one final point on
Yeah,
these two
we're
teams
ready.
is that these are the two teams with the biggest question marks as to where they're going to go, what they're going to do, and can they improve. They're going head to head. In terms of the league position, this is going to be crucial for these two teams. This is a 6-point game right here, right now, the second game.
And what I've always said is you have to get that first win. That first win is so important to get you off the mark for your season.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's then toss it to our casters. Happen will take you through. That's FAV and Spear Gaming. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome. I love that bit on the Siege. My name is Fresh. I sleep Siege, eat Siege, dream Siege. Thank you very much. Hi,
This is
we're
an
here.
easy
Do
town.
you dream Siege? Do you sleep Siege?
Sometimes after a major, I might have some dreams about Siege every
He
now and
wakes
then.
up, there's a big pot of Siege, puts it on some boil.
We need to get him a shirt with it. It's that's for sure.
Fresh. Love the kids. Love the Siege. Hate what? 62%. I think FAV's gonna win it. FAV, they've had roster changes. They've had 3 technical names. Obviously, K-Razor was on the bench before.
Yeah. It's now off the bench. It's been warming it enough. Back into the main roster. They go. So, Clubhouse, a map of basics, a map of fundamentals. And Milo said it before, if you do not know how to play this well, then you better not play it at all, because tiny mistakes will lead to grave consequences, especially in your defense, let alone like CCTV. If you cannot hold on to Garage, for example, it's going to be very difficult for you to hold on. And the Montaigne ban actually comes in, first one to be removed by FAV. And that one will allow the Garage to be a bit more safe. Sense ban.
They aren't banned too often.
Now that's a
very
first.
That's a particular ban. I mean, I'm not confident enough to say if it's a first across all of Tier 1.
Yeah, I'm not sure either,
But it might be, and that's that sort of thing there. You don't
Okay.
really see them removed. The Monty the Kaid, it's a curious set here.
so far it is. Valkyrie to be removed? Maybe? No? Azami? Okay, yeah. It's between
When
those
was
two
the last
operators.
time we saw a club as well with no hard breach removed?
I wouldn't be able to tell you when the last time is we had that.
Here's the follow-up question. Here's
Yeah?
the real brain scratcher. Do you think this is in response to the pocket EMPs?
I mean, the thing is, right, pocket EMPs come in, a Thatcher ban isn't really that useful anymore. You used to ban Thatcher, so you didn't have to worry about these EMPs, like your K-claws or your Bendit wires would stay up a little bit longer, same for the mute gemmers. But now they've come in, Thatcher is more into play, every wall will open up. There's no excuse to not be able to open up a wall you need to have open up, especially not if a Kate is banned. All you really need to deal with is a mute and sometimes a bandit, so it seems like it might be a very attack-sided game that comes through between these two here.
All right, Spear. These are the games that you usually lose. Let's be real. What they sort of put themselves in for a good perspective on the side of Spear is how they perform at the end. Their big finishes. But it seems like they might be going for a bit of a big star here. The Blitz picked up in the favor instead of the Zofia. Obviously, the swap round. If I'm going to say this might be a game without hard breach, this is a game that might find itself getting a little bit of a quicker breach here, ready to stack up and start charging their way immediately towards Adam and potentially some pressure onto Stocker Blue.
Of course, you do have NL playing with that Thermite, so there is the opportunity to breach together with the Buck and the hard breach gadgets as well. I think Sayora will just be opening that one up for Roy Boy to just push through and instantly put up some pressure onto the side, force the roamers to rotate back to the side as a result of it. And after that, the rest of the team can slowly take control of the rest of the map.
Well, Mephi's suffering, and Crazy Boy suffered more. Shin, able to get that opening kill. The Nomad's gone. They pop up and look for the second. NL's trying to get the catch on the far side. Shin's able to survive and scrape either way, and then drops his way back down to a little bit of a semblance of safety. Roy Boy's put some pressure inside. He knows that he's going to try and move behind him. Another luck of the current Berlin Major Charm in the top right corner. Hopefully that'll be the drive that he needs. Mephi gets the crack, but look to the top floor. There's still players inside CC at this point. Royboy's putting the pressure on the site. Sayora says sayonara to the cover onto Shin. They've got a little bit of site control. It's not locked in. The Echo drone's making a move, and NL's going to see if he can stick it. You assume the drone will get the catch. There it is. There's the catch onto the drone itself. It gives them time to bring themselves back in, go for a second plant. We're a bit blind, so we'll go by audio. That's Light on the rotation with Afro offering the support down on the back. Mephi inside the site is able to get some cover. NL's going for the plant one more time. There's the swing round. Light came round onto the back. They got the retake. Mephi was locked inside blue and caught by a Banshee. The 2 versus 1. One behind the A frame, one on the third box. The pings are hot and continual. There's a minute 20, but with how scrappy everything's been up to this point, he knows he's just trying to hope that he can get a 1 versus 1 with some cover and protection, and hope the gun skill gives him a little bit more. Opening himself up a bit more of a width to the angle. The AK swing is sort of dancing with how wide it wants to go. This is the tricky position for FAV. They know that they're really cut off. There's no rotate, and Mephi's hoping to be rewarded with that pressure, with that little dance. But it's always worth remembering the pressure of time is still onto him. He's got to be the one that makes the final move into the site itself. There's only so much reward that you could get here. There's the slink pass, the pre-fire, the first, the second, it's Mephi!
He played that super patiently, opened up another avenue there, but because they were stacked up the way they were on the defense, he was able to find himself some 1v1, some scrapes here and there as well, that will help him in the end. And even though they lost that early member, they took that site control because the rest of FAV was still about and roaming. Yes, they managed to fight back. Yes, they managed to stop that diffuser from going down, but with the amount of time that was left, Mephi had everything he needed to close that one out, slowly but steadily. With a nice lineup there in the end. 2 kills to close it off. 4 in the round so far. So, as we continue, FAV will be headed towards the top 4 now. Not going to rerun down on the basement. 4 kills.
Yes.
A good start.
It's almost an ace.
It's almost an ace, indeed.
It's one off. FAV Gaming. Now, what they sort of suffered on the other side of that was being a little bit too adrift. Obviously, unfortunately, during a little bit of interference from our eyes, that was, as I called, the rotate that came down, and that was something that Spear punished. Whether that was the change towards the blitz, either way, they've gone with an operator that can have a similar effect with the Candelas in the pockets of Royboy at this point. They might see if they can try and drive themselves specifically through it, but it's a little bit trickier to do here because there's a lot of busy work that you've otherwise got to do. Royboy with the potential width has the hard breach charge and will utilize it because you're trying to force control. You want to make sure that they cannot stay sucked inside CC.
Instantly goes up as well. Doesn't want to stick around there on that balcony because you are quite exposed if you do. That's a very nice drone toss there. Instantly rolls in, but picked up. They do have the information on Shin though. Maestro camera right underneath that hatch is going to be able to continue feeding info as well. So Shin doesn't necessarily have to be out there. And as the first impacts are about to be tossed in, they're definitely going to be getting Jacuzzi open.
There it is. The pressure starts to come through. They want to move right behind it, and they flood themselves into the bathroom. There's the take. Maestro was caught absolutely unaware, and now they're going to see if they can stick it once again. NL dedicated to the plant, and Sayora dedicated to the cover here. He was able to just last as long, this time slightly longer. Post-plant, and they flood their way back out. The Candela's pop, and it has been an absolute robbery here. Inside the spray through, Royboy has logistics locked down, gets caught from behind. They've flooded inside the bedroom, but a 4 versus 1. Euro has logistics, but it's a logistical nightmare with a drone revealing you as well. This has been an absolute storm of the site from Spear.
Second time, FAV, only a single or maybe 2 people on the side. They get punished for it. The Jacuzzi wall gets opened up. Flashbangs get tossed in. They run right after them. They're not waiting for a second. And they just overwhelm FAV here. Well done by Spear. The second time in a row where they read that this is how FAV is currently playing. And surely, CCTV is going up next now. So Garage is important to hold. But surely we don't see many roamers of FAV now. I want to see 3, maybe 4 players on that side. Because they keep being overwhelmed on the actual side. It's not like any other part of the map is being taken by the side of Spear. It's all just the side and the direct room surrounding it. So it works out well for them. They've managed to take out two very convincing, well, one lesser than the other, but attacking wins at the start where they tried to get the side. They got it under control. The plant was about to go down, and the first round it got denied by a yokai drone, but the second, not at all. And if they continue this, well, FAV, you know, they need to respond at some point.
I think need to respond at some point is a bit of an understatement here. The problem is with FAV, they have had no real control. The first round was a scrappy fight back into the site itself, and they were able to get the entrance. We can't really forgo that. The first point here was Spear straight through onto the site. There was nothing between them and what they wanted to achieve, and they achieved it. It's a fearlessness that once upon a time was their biggest problem. Here, eyes on towards the chance at some control over the side of Garage. Getting themselves a bit prepped for the clearing coverage elsewhere. It's a traditional site, or the traditional hole to be something that gives FAV a little bit more to work with in terms of time.
Now, Mephi went from Ash to Zofia to Glass. Of course, just a couple rounds. And openings will be made into Garage. That's the default opening you used to see back when Capital was still in the meta quite a lot, as you could have actually stopped any bandit tricking going through with one of those bolts going through that window. But of course, you can also stop any rotate back through that window if you have that wall opened up now. So that's exactly why they've opened it up. The Maverick will make sure that the main wall has been closed, and that will allow them now to work towards the site directly. But they're aware of a roamer, they're aware of a potential flank, and then I will just punish them for it. You're off the board.
I mean, this from Spear has been so clinical. They've had such a good awareness of exactly how FAV wants to play it. It's researched, it's rehearsed, and by God, it's repeating its story over these rounds. Shin, he might be the next point of contact here, tucked over onto the gantry in the top of Garage. There's the breach to put the pressure on. The drones are starting to roll their way through. Afro's hoping he can get a plucky pick on a slightly off position here on the other side of the chassis. They're inside, and well, that was a bit of a surprise, but Roy Boy's able to make the most of it. They're gonna drive themselves over the top. Crazy Boy with the lead. The smoke canister will at least move the plant elsewhere, but K-Razor, a 4 versus 1. Spear just said we're sick of being outside.
Again, they don't take any other control than what they need for the execute here. So what you saw happen there, it went quite quick, so I'll just recap it quickly. The buck goes in, gets taken out. At that moment, he falls back because there is going to be someone on that rappel, actually finds that kill before he's able to fall back. A second player just runs in with that diffuser, the plant goes down, the player on Rafters is like, how did he get in? Because we just managed to get a kill there. At the same time, someone comes up from Garage and kills him. So everything was just perfectly orchestrated there from the side of Spear. And again, a quick push onto the side, just overwhelming them, even though FAV had everybody on the site this time, unable to fight back. And so they go to the basement, the one where it was quite scrappy, but you cannot forget, a plant was about to go down if it wasn't for the yokai drone on the board. That's not there now, so they need to make sure that their guns are going to be able to stop those plants from happening, stop the entries from Spear to happen, because, you know, you were in that 1v2, it was clutched out the last time by Spear, you want to prevent that from happening.
We've got a 007 reversed within
Again.
3 rounds.
Yes.
Within 3 rounds. And
With
that's
3 different operators as well.
That's an insane statistic to be able to throw up with the pace of this, but it's just sort of been a brush over here against FAV. It was one of those games where it might not have been the most conflicted, but it is a divisive game on the talent team in terms of predictions. You would be mistaken to sort of predict not only this result, but the sheer audacity that Spear has been able to take these rounds with. Over the top, once again, Afro is playing that slightly looser play. Gets himself a rotate out of there before he's stuck by a fight. It seems like they're not going to go for the direct route through onto site this time. Instead, want to try and find those loose players. Play a bit of surprise because, well, the surprise strat they used in the first round with the buck pace isn't going to work twice. Roy Boy sure keeps working. Yura, once again, removed twice in a row as the first body off the board, and still no bodies of his own for this game.
Top floor has been taken under control. Zephyr starts to fall back, and that means that Spear will be on the hunt for these remaining players that might be lingering around on that first floor here. Drones should be giving that answer away, should be telling them where these players are hiding, but with the sheer pace that we've seen from Spear, a lack of droning could occur because they've only been attacking the site so far. Are they going to be checking the bathroom? Doesn't seem like it, so Light has gone and spotted.
Well, the breach through, and yeah, as you said, that could be the big problem. Light in that position, he's about to maybe go face-to-face. No, they head up, take themselves to a slightly different bout of safety. I mean, the longer he's unchecked, the more of a strike this will be. There is a bit of a rotate coming through on the opposite side. There's the player loose on the back. It's Scrappy, and it's Afro that wins it out, which actually buys Light a little bit more time to sit and wait. NL moves in, but he's got the kit. It's dangerous now. If he goes down, look at that Malusi, look at that creep on the bathroom door. He wants them to just sort of flood their way through, and this should be easy pick. Afro goes down. There's the kick cold. Light hot foots it out of there. There is a player on the top floor. There's one inside the bar as well. It's 2 stories. Can they get the angle and the idea? Crazy Boy is actually going to pull away from the fight.
Opening up the hatch, I believe, as well. At the same time, Robo, in the meantime, will find Shin. The diffuser has been dropped, so they need to pick it up. And as long as Light's out there, it might not be safe, as Robo is in the side already. They hope to make some pace happen, but Afro will find him instead. Brings it only up to Crazy Boy now as Light finds his second. He is on the side, but no diffuser, so all he can do is hope for a miracle right here with these last 30 seconds.
Well, he doesn't get it, and FAV do find their first round. I think they're from the side of Spear as soon as the wheels really started to fall off. If they had gone with at least 2 players to try and capitalize upon Light instead of throwing themselves into the site, well, what are you going to do? Because if you're going for the site, there was about 50, 45 seconds left.
Yeah.
Sure, you might be able to win the fights there, but you're putting so much trust on that single player to not only potentially get the kit, but win out that engagement on the other side. But either way, you still need the kit. Even if you win all the fights inside the site, you're sort of there lost, and Light is winning the round, enjoying their feet up in the bar.
It's what I said before, right? Like, they've been attacking the side directly time and time again. They've not really been droning every single nook and cranny that's on this map to find out where these roamers are hiding. As soon as they went to a more methodical kind of game style where you clear out from top to bottom towards the side and you try and open up the hatches, try and get some vertical control before you go for the execute, well, they lacked there. They just forgot about an entire section of the map, didn't drone it out, and got punished for it. So it's definitely a lesson that they will learn, hopefully, over this next round if they do decide to go through CCTV and cash first. We could also just see another straight-up push through the side. I mean, the Ying is on the board, and we do see some roamers on FAV as it brought them some success in the form of Afro, Yura, and Light. Currently all not on the side. Not even K-Razor is. So it's only Shin defending it now. And if they do manage to go quickly, well, that could be another quick shutdown, but it seems like they're on the wrong side of the map.
Okay, FAV, you've been able to pull back on the site rails a little bit close to the wire. Already Candela's popping, potentially just to stop anyone getting close to the other side, but no breach, no how, no ma'am. The mute jammer will stop any of that immediate progress.
Drone coming in, they want to get that information now, see if logistics is going to be cleared. That's a barrel of an Aldo you just see sticking out there. That's some legs now. And that is a Maestro that just hops it out of there, doesn't want to stick around, knows what is going to be coming for him there. And as the opening onto the jacuzzi wall comes up next, they knew what happened the last time around. They need to prevent that from happening again.
Wow, caught the drone in the mix of the pre-fire with the mute jammer. Obviously, the backside is locked as well. Some Candelas are starting to roll. It's Sayora that suffers inside the site. Just took the hop onto the bedroom window. Roy Boy, not quite moving behind the Candelas, is trying to bait a bit of a fight. There's the hot ping. Are you going to take the fight? You're going to lose it. Shin has the lockdown there. FAV, they have definitely woken up after being shaken awake from the earlier rounds. Methy's made his way in through the opposite side. Cannot get the lock in. It's just nobody left. FAV lock it out with a very sturdy return to gym bedroom.
And that is Sayora where you cannot drone yourself in. You know about someone behind that desk. You toss in 3 Candelas, one by one, and you do not follow up on it. Instead, you go on your drone, and after that realize, oh, he's still there. I can take that gunfight. But that same moment, Maestro is going to be able to see again and return the favor as well. A bit of a lack of teamwork here from Spear in that last round. Weren't quite able to help one another, tried to go a bit too quick, but on individual paces rather than as a unit, which worked out in those first 3 rounds. And that leaves us now in that 3v2 state in terms of the score. FAV having an opportunity to get back into it, having an opportunity to bring this up to 3-3 as they continue towards their final defensive side.
There's a little bit of a reflection in terms of the scoreboard. There's 2 players on either team that have popped off across the opening 5 rounds, and then it's a little bit of a dabble. Obviously, FAV are still a step behind, but they're also still a round behind in that regard. However, if they're able to thread themselves back to a 3-3 here without using their attack timeout from where things were, moving into their attacking energy, could be massive for the side of FAV. Because, you know, as I said at the 3-0 point, it's not just that Spear Gaming are 3-0 up, it's that they were sort of on the back of 2 rounds where they just took the site. And FAV have sort of realized we can't let that happen.
That's it. They just took it. Like, they didn't want to take anything else. It's like, we'll just put our hands on the site and we hold it very tightly, and it's going to be ours because there's only 1 or 2 single players from FAV out there not expecting it. And there's Euro. Euro with the Swan Peak this time, or the outside swing will find Crazy Boy. That is going to be one of the Heartbreachers gone. Definitely making your job a bit easier.
That's it. Euro's able to get himself dug in. He's not quite been able to sort of find that roam game. He's repeatedly been shut off or locked off, and here, that early sort of taste of Crazy Boy especially pulls them out of their funk. Roy Boy is waiting, hoping to be gifted. Her reward that was handed to Spear in the very first round isn't going to be the game that FAV play at this point. They're more than happy to sort of sit, rest, and wait on their laurels. They know the pressure has to come to them, and they know the verticality has to be a bit controlled as well. So Afro ready on those core stairs to swing up either side towards Jacuzzi Logistics. If the pressure starts to come, it seems double stacked. Can they find the Vigil though?
Spear hoping to find an entrance somewhere, so Euro will find himself sandwiched now in between 2 players. 1 near construction, some around on those main stairs. Rotations do come through though, pings as well on either side, and with 90 seconds left, that Vigil still roaming up on the top floor, might be able to strike its first victim in just a second.
Oh, he wants to take the hatch though. He's got that as an option. He's just trying to find a body on the way out the door. The pre-fire comes through. Doesn't quite get the connection, but the C4 does. Sayora locked out from underneath. The rotation puts them in a very solid position now. They still have a lot of the control of the site itself. You always have the option to rotate back up, which seems like it's about to happen. 2 bodies. Are they going to net 1? There's 1. There's 2. There is a 3rd. And that is suddenly a massive turn of force on a single staircase. A massacre's occurred. Now we have Spear Gaming with about a minute and a body advantage. What can they do with it?
They were this close to lock it off and make it 3-3, and then suddenly they decide to rotate up the same staircase with 3 players and be shut down by Spear. Leaves it 3v2. Light and K-Razor now needing to clutch it. One has had a bit of a better game than the other. K-Razor struggling a little bit so far, so it's his moment to shine. Light waiting on the other side of the barricade, but he has been spotted out by that drone. Opens it up, the drops come through on the hatch. Brief fires are there as well. He will find 2 though. Brings it back to only Maffy, who will find him with a lucky spray through the barricade. Another 1v1, another clutch potential here for him. He decides to just go for the plants. 45 seconds soon on the clock for him, unless K-Razor changes that.
Oh wow, K-Razor, he's too far adrift. It's a post-plant situation. Look at the health on Maffy though. It just takes a scrape from K-Razor's C4, and that's going to be delivered. It doesn't quite get the full bite. He's looking for the fight. The pings come through. It's K-Razor's moment for his first. He can't find it. Maffy! He finds his 2nd clutched out 2 versus 1 round. And that is Spear Gaming 4-2 half, but only just.
FAV should have had that round. It was a 5-on-3 with a very damaged Maffy on the board as well. There was about a minute left on the clock, and they decide to retake that top floor with, well, 3 players, and they instantly all get shut down. They wanted to go together, and to some extent, I'm a big fan. They wanted to retake that top floor. Maybe try and go from 2 different directions this time, though, because like you see 3 of those X-rays coming through, and it's just 2 players holding down left mouse button on Spear Gaming. It's just an absolute massacre and nothing they can do. And yes, Light brings it back slightly. He's able to get 2 kills out of the 3 before he gets wallbanged by Mephi, but again, FAV should never have been in this situation. You had that complete bottom floor under control. All that Spear had was that top floor. I think you could have left them where they were, especially with the man count advantage you had.
Well, that's a lot of preparation to make sure nobody does the game that they did before. Can they try and take their first here? FAV, it's still not over. Obviously, this is a map that does play itself well to attackers, and as I said, they still got the timeout, and they have a little bit of flavor and taste, and Mephi wants to have a little bit of a taste of the flavor of the attackers on the approach. Gets himself reinforced. Afro sure gets the rest of it, though. NL goes down. The mute is caught out. There's a hefty bit of fire. They're hanging off the side of the building, but they've pulled back. Mephi is curious about any engagement he might take, and Siora, he's being breached upon. Look at this, though. That is not the most common seen gun in the pocket of a Goya.
Yeah, the TCSG is one of those heavy-hitting rifles you sometimes saw on Cade, for example, due to the fact it does so much damage. But I think with a suppressor now, you know, you do no longer have that damage drop-off. Might actually be quite efficient at taking out some of those enemies. I believe it does like 60, 70 damage per shot. It's basically a DMR in the form of a shotgun, so...
I remember the Cade, when it was in the pocket of only Cade, and he also had the revolver pistol.
Yeah,
the sniper, the 44.
I love that gun, by the way. Just
that
scope on it.
Was it? I can't remember what tournament it was where that was just... It was a highlight reel in itself. There's a drop. There's a catch on a fake lady. Crazy boy. He's holding inside the bar. He's hoping that somebody moves behind him, but you can see that they're not overstretching themselves. The breach and the pull back. It's a long extended hold, and they're giving themselves as much time as possible. But look at Sayora. He's all the way inside strip. He's gone for a bit of a journey, hoping he can play the play that Light did against them before. They've obviously got the man disadvantage, but surprise can be that special factor here.
As long as he goes unspotted, he might be able to take out one, possibly even two FAV members, especially as the pressure now seems to be arising on the direct side and no one seems to be aware of it. A phone call just used, Sayura has gone unspotted, is now going to be able to sneak through. They haven't heard him, they don't know he's out here, and there's no drone that will tell them otherwise as well. So, you know, all that Spear Gaming has to do, the three other members, is just hold tight on the site and call out the perfect moment for him to strike.
That's it. You can see that touch in the corner. You hear a drone rotating as well. He's utilizing the music to cover any of the calls that come through. Will they find the body? There's the C4, and there's just the side of Light. And that wasn't even the sledge that got caught. Carries has suffered a little, and well, now they're going to try and drive themselves down towards the site itself. They're starting to move, and so is Sayora. There is one player around Billiards, and that is the trickiest one to try and pull apart. He'll be watching the hatch down onto Moto. We can see just the outline, and it's Afro that's the fight here. Sayora, he'll hear the drop. He'll go for the push on the back end. He's got it perfectly timed. The time is in his favor, and there's an easy catch. There's a drop down, the second onto Pipes. And it's just Yura left, has to try and recollect the kit inside blue, but there is no time to get either of these two fights, so he'll just see if he can hold F, and he's not rewarded for it. Spear Gaming.
Sierra played that perfectly there, just waiting patiently, and as soon as the hatch drop came through, free play for him. No one there anymore to shut him down as they're all down in that basement. He has the high ground, he has the advantage, and played and perfectly well. And it's a 5-on-2 now. 2 more rounds, and Spear is going to be able to find 3 points here against FAV. And I'll be more than happy with that, considering how their year and how last year has gone so far. So they might be, you know, wanting to finally get out of those bottom parts of the table and try and push into that top 4. And this is their opportunity, this stage, to do so.
It was still sort of close. I think one of the blows there on the side of FAV was time. I think FAV found themselves that obvious early pick there, and they played... I think what you can sort of say is they played into the hand of that defense. The idea of that is to stress time and put the pressure on it. They were steady and going for the clarity. There was, of course, a little bit of a sort of missed player and a missed moment, but otherwise, it was still, I think, lacking a little bit of the ferocity that I wanted to see carry over.
And maybe because there was so much preparative work they needed to do, like castle barricades to take out, hatches to open up, they needed to clear at the top floor first as roamers were spotted there. They lacked the time to go for the drone onto Strip, onto the other parts of that map, which allowed and enabled Sayura, of course, to go for that huge double kill near the end of it. But you can only say that FAV, they basically failed to play into the defense and beat them in their own game there. So Spear Gaming, they played that well, they had the right idea and managed to slow them down. Now, pressure comes in from the jacuzzi balcony. Sledge opens up, some pre-fires are being sent back, but there's going to be a free route into the bathroom if it isn't for the player inside the gym right now.
I mean, the gym player is playing just under the window as well. They're holding themselves on a very tight angle, hoping to be gifted. There's a drone that's going to get the catch, and how long are you going to stick around? They're hoping that they can get in another drone. There's the E1D. There's a bit of movement on logistics. They're sort of dabbling. Do we risk taking this engagement? They're stacked up now. They're baiting the fight. One slips through. There's not the catch. K-Ray is able to get it. The shotgun isn't going to do much in that position. There's a loss on the other side as well. And, well, an E1D buys a second of silence. And then L is suddenly just left holding on, with Mephi having to rotate a bit closer from the gantry side.
Trying to go for the retake there, definitely not the right choice to go for Crazy Boy. Also, Roy Boy could have maybe fallen back rather than take that gunfight. There was so many players onto that balcony just waiting to go in. You could have gone the first, but you instantly would be shut down right after. So FAV, this is a round they shouldn't be losing. It's a 5 versus 2, and they seem both occupied with the eastern side of that map. Of course, NL using the heart wall to try and still look around it, but the breach will come through soon, so they need to take more aggressive positions. That's a spot.
I was going to say, that's an aggressive position. A little bit of a pepper and a spray over the top, hoping to be rewarded. That smoke canister will push him back, and Mephi with a C4 is able to find Afro, and there's Mephi with a run out, getting the drop on the kit. There's Mephi with a triple, one more for this absolute tour de force of a game, a 2 versus 2, taken by the reins and pulled back with 40 seconds. A lot of the breaching is done. Light's looking for the early pick. He cannot quite get the lockdown. There's a shotgun to cement the sentence. And NL holding the close angle around that really should have been FAV's here. K-Razor, he has the grenade, but NL has a different answer.
You know what I said? 5v2, you shouldn't be allowed to lose this, FAV.
They lost it.
No, they lost it. In typical FAV fashion, we've seen him do these kind of things many times before. You kind of hope that the changes will be enough to stop that from happening, but well played by Mephi, just the aggression. And I said it, they need to go a bit aggressive here. If they stay passive in their corners, they will be singled out, they will be shut down. And Mephi, okay, the third kill onto the thermite he should not have gotten.
Oh,
right?
not at all.
The first one,
caught a drone out on his way back through, which means his hop out could have been recorded. Not sure what the first one was a C4. So the C4 was on the cover of his CC window.
Exactly.
Right? Then he hops out and gets this one. Oh, the drone was jammed. Okay, so the drone couldn't have watched him because it was jammed. Fair enough. But that, I mean, Mephi is unstoppable today.
No, the first one, okay. The second one, understandable. The third, it should not have happened. But, hey, it came through in the end anyway. And with that, Spear find themselves on a match point now. Not just one, but 4 opportunities to lock it off here against FAV and put up a valuable 3 points on that board. Temporarily first place in the league is what they would be playing for. Definitely doing some good business for themselves. There's another spawn peek attempt right here from Roy Boy. He's going to be going for a jump pad, I reckon.
Yeah, very likely. He's waiting and hoping.
Waiting for a repel sound, possibly.
Oh, he didn't quite get it. Light was a little bit more ready for the Roy Boy approach there. And once again, Spear have lost an early body. But to be honest, it hasn't slowed them down some of the other rounds. It's down to FAV to really sort of find the end of what has started to be some very long, slow, curtailing sentences that haven't quite opted anywhere. The pressure and the strip take. It's not the most common way of getting yourselves into the site here. You'll generally see the take start from the opposite side, get control of the top, but you never know. It's always a forming matter, and some of these big points of the meta have been formed inside this region. The takeover of Jacuzzi as well. The attention is now being paid potentially towards stock. They're just getting themselves as much opening as possible, force the Spear Gaming players into very awkward positions. It really only leaves them the option of potentially playing tucked around the bar where there's a couple of hard walls, the bathroom and that corridor, down towards the chain link fence, or even kitchen itself.
Now, FAV, when they played this, they wanted to retake that top floor very heavily with 3 players. They currently, as Spear Gaming, has 3 players up on that top floor, not really having to worry about the CCTV wall. Don't think that will be opened up, so verticality will be theirs. Crazy Boy, in the meantime, I think he's playing in that basement, using those yokai drones to the utmost potential to stop any plants from happening. Needs to be careful, though. Has some proximity scanners there, just to at least give him a bit of a sound cue if someone is going to be coming through. But it seems like Strip is indeed going to be where the main attack is coming from. And is there any verticality available for the side of Spear to stop any plant from happening here? It doesn't seem like it as they drop down.
Yeah, they're coming across. Shin's just tucked inside the site. He's going to go for the stick. Sees one of the yokai. That's one of the 2 options gone. Hops and changes forces. Light and Sayora get one apiece, but it's Light inside stock that has that backline. The C4 is going to go for the catch onto the hatch. Crazy Boy's caught on his way up the stairs, and Spear, a couple of questions about this hold. They said there was a couple of options and they opted for none of them. They went really hands off, tried to charge themselves back through open territory. Great take from NL up around the corner, but there is still 3 players and 2 stories of trouble, and he's not going to see the second. Euro gets FAV their first round, potentially of 4, but definitely on their attack. Can they try and get a couple more?
Eventually did take top floor control here, FAV. At least all they needed to do, which is get rid of that bedroom, get rid of logistics, don't allow them to get any further than that. And that forced Spear to rotate down back towards that first floor. At that same moment the plant was going down, the yokai being spotted out by the plant, they're taken out as well, well done by FAV. But still 3 rounds they need to win before we head towards overtime. And Church and Arsenal will be up next. FAV having an absolute game so far. 7 kills in the first 3 rounds. Don't forget the triple kill that happened 2 rounds ago. He's been especially important in the rounds Spear Gaming have been winning. And as we continue, side is slowly being set up. FAV, they cannot afford to take any risks, and thus if you look at their lineup, it is very default. You have the Yana, Sledge, the Sophia, and then 2 of your Heart Breachers. So you have a plenty of soft breach, you have some Heart Breach, get your grenades down there as well. So it is a very default lineup, whereas we see a lot of flexibility nowadays.
Now, the way this sort of came down, as I said before, FAV, they had a good start, and then things got a little bit slow and tight, and they missed one of those players. Seems like they're going to pay a bit of attention to the top once again, but there is less attention paid to the top from the side of Spear. In fact, they've pulled themselves a bit further back because, to be honest, they know that the best part of FAV's approach before was that early game, was that opener. There is still the chance at that stretch, at that rotation, but will they be rewarded for it? Not yet. It seems like they have the tuck and the cover that they want, and they're just going to keep a bit of an arm's length. That drone rolls past, hot droned ahead. Mephi, I would say, do you feel up for the fight? But every single fight has generally gone your way. This, however, is a lot of presence. Can't even catch both of them and realizes, well, not going to risk it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to risk it either. A minute has been wasted. The drone's still out there. Very tight angle from Afro there. He's protecting most of his body as he has a bit of a view onto anybody coming up the staircase there. Hatches will be opened up, though. FAV is going to have some formality ready to go for. Need to be careful though in that kitchen because Royboy is playing right below, has to impact, but also could be using them as a bit of anti-personnel.
Oh, he's looking for the window. Yeah, he's hoping the Habana is going to go for the hatch from there instead, but Light, oh, I was about to say he's gone for the door. He might not. He's playing back and forth. They have the Valkyrie cam, and the X-Kyra should be popped from the door itself. They're also ready to play it. Sayora suffers. I assume a grenade rolled underneath. Yeah, Yura's lost both of his. There's the play in the break. They did lose a single player to a C4 last time. There's the pop. And that should get caught out by this. And there's that 4 gone. Habana does still have 6. They can get that open. There goes the camera itself, but they know they cannot risk it with still, look how many impacts in the pocket on the side of Spear.
It's going to say there's still 5 more impacts available, so you might just see them rotate in one by one as they want to make sure that this hatch stays closed. So next set of Excaliburs placed, next set destroyed as well. Let's swap over. Exactly what they do. Crazy Boy takes that spot, uses an impact on K-Razor, is unable to get the kill. The hatch will open up eventually, and it is going to be the kill to Crazy Boy right afterwards as well.
Well, Light's able to find Crazy Boy. Mephi gets Yura as a bit of a response inside blue. They're watching towards the push onto the side of pipes with 30 seconds. You can see that FAV is slowly and steadily running a little bit out of options. The cover of the smoke, the push down the corridor. They've tucked themselves around. They're looking towards the side of Moto. Afro's down onto Oil, but he's watched the whole time. Light either side. Roy Boy up the corridor itself. You can see they're trying to flood here, FAV, but what other option do they have here? Afro going for the fight. Cannot quite get it, but he does. Mephi tucked out of the corner. Roy Boy goes down as well. It's suddenly all coming up on the side of FAV, but 4 seconds, a single player. He cannot find it. FAV out of options, but they succeed at the only one they had left.
I mean, it was 4 people in that room there. The time was about to be running out. It's the right call. You don't want to go for a gunfight in that moment in time. You're guaranteed to lose it if you're that Jaeger peeking over that bar when there's 4 guns looking your way. And suddenly it's only 2 more rounds that FAV needs to win before we head towards overtime. And a tactical timeout is called. Spear decide they need 45 to have a chat, to have a discussion, see if they can find a way to end this game in the next 2 rounds. Stop FAV from being able to make that comeback happen. Because the last 2 rounds, they have been quite convincing.
I think that's the sort of turn of it now, isn't it? It's FAV have been able to thread 2 attacks together. They were able to do the same, you know, on the opening half, and then Spear were able to just get that last one. They were able to just get that final push over the top. This is the first time we've had the tech timeout, and the break here. I guess it's that sort of game here from Spear is we know what we're able to do to shut them out. We've lost a little bit of that energy.
Yeah.
It was a pocket full of seconds. It was the difference of 1 more kill potentially going away from the side of FAV there. Spear know how close they are, and okay, you've also got to look at some of the other rounds that Spears have won. They have been clutches. It's not that FAV have been a million miles away, it's just generally the swing of things have been sort of slowed by FAV's own step-ups and mistakes. If they're learning to wind them out, Spear, that's when the pressure starts to come.
For sure. As 2 more opportunities for Spirit to lock it off. FAV, said it before, starting to get back into it. They need just 2 more rounds and they find themselves in overtime. It's definitely looking a lot better than a 6-2 looked earlier on, especially if you keep that current form in mind. But do Spear have something up their sleeves to stop this from happening? Some mute jammers are being placed. You might be wondering why these current positions, while they stop these drones from heading through the doorways that are being spotted earlier on, which means that it is going to be very difficult to get information on the gym and to get it on the bedroom as well. So you need to go through the windows to do so. And yes, they are being opened up, but there's no one out there to actually put pressure down yet.
Last time we were here, there were 3 bodies lost in a very quick attack in a very short space of time. From the side of Spear over here on this side, the gym bedroom side, it became a bit of a bloodbath, and it was only by a big clutch that things came back into the favor. What have Spear learned? What have they been able to talk about on their timeout? Will they give themselves a little bit more life and a chance? You won the round, but as we said before, only just. The break starts to come through. The pressure on the core of this, it cuts off a lot of the chance of a direct rotation. You isolate construction. You isolate that route through as a direct. Here, Royboy has the impact. He can try and give himself a drop. He takes the fight instead, wins it. Last time, that was a loss on his side, and that's going to give them a bit of energy. Crazy Boy steps up into the bathroom as well. He's got a shotgun. He was hoping another player would pop their way through. Royboy's doing everything to keep them at bay for now. FAV, what is the option? Are you going to see if you can try and double down and cut your losses back, or will the break come against it? There it is. Caught out, should get the mute jammer. Might have also destroyed, though, the Selma.
Didn't get the mute jammer even. It was placed on the wall, not even through it. So that will stay closed for now, but EMPs come through, so the opening will be made, and they just haul back. They don't want to stick around. They've got the entry. They've wasted some time. It's about 1 minute and 15 left, and still need to clear out the bedroom, logistics, and construction if they want to take control of it. So you can expect in around 50, 45 seconds-ish, they'll start knocking at the front door of the site.
This is it, though, right now. As you said, 2 minutes have been wasted. They've pulled themselves back. This is such a tricky situation now for the side of FAV. Sure, they've done the groundwork on the far side, but Garage is entirely locked in. There's no pressure and presence coming through. The push is direct across the side of logistics against openings that are already put together. There it is, the more thorough angle. Crazy Boy's holding in to make sure the rotation doesn't come underneath. The shield swing is going to get a bit dangerous here. Light suffers a little bit from Roy Boy, but he doesn't have much of his own. Caught out on a drone. He might expect something to follow up sooner rather than later, but there's no grenades left in the pockets with the catch out of Iana. There's nothing that can truly force them. Crazy Boy's underneath with a shotgun, waiting for the hop through, and there's an easy pickup on a player. NL gets one. Afro goes down. K-Raze is all that's left, but he can't quite make the connection. Spear Gaming open us up by pushing it over the line for 3 points.
They take those 3 points with a good adaptation in this round. You said it as it happened. The last time they won that gunfight, this Crazy Boy is living up to his name yet again.
A cheeky dance.
A cheeky dance.
A celebratory dance is always earned.
But last time, on that gym bedroom area, you know, when they were defending CC, they lost that first initial gunfight. This time, they had a backup plan. Lots of mute jammers have been placed to stop any drones from coming in. They played off contact of each other. They managed to get that kill and fall back right afterwards. The advantage was theirs, and they made sure to press it in that round to win a game that seemed to have been theirs from the start.
Was that a difference of a roster that didn't make any changes and one trying to get to pace with theirs? I don't know. That's not my job. That's the job of the desk to work out after a very quick break.